Because reading is what?
Fundamental.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Do You Read BTS? I'm Lisa.
And I'm Delize. Welcome back to another episode. All right, so this week we have an author who we've read a few of her stories and we've actually reviewed all of them. She wrote Quick and Dirty, The Airplane Part 2, and the House of Cards story. We have with us xJoonchildx.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you guys.
Definitely. We're glad that you decided to join us. You know, we've been wanting to talk to you about the story, so we're super excited about this.
Yeah. Well, I'm over here waiting to see what you guys are going to ask me. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous, girl.
Don't be nervous at all. I was going to say they're really not that deep of questions, so don't be worried.
Yeah, you don't have to
Okay,
be
good.
worried.
I feel prepared.
So the first story that we kind of wanted to get into was Quick and Dirty, because it was quick and dirty.
It was great too.
It was great. All the smut in your stories are like, woo, so good.
You guys, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So it's so funny because my username or whatever is xJoonchildx, but anybody who follows me knows that I'm obsessed with Hoseok. So like I felt bad because I started writing stories and I'm like, I haven't written one thing about this man. Like, shouldn't I write something about him?
Right, so who is your So that makes me that's making me wonder who's your bias and bias writer, because you write all these stories, but your name is xJoonchildx. So what's up?
Right. Well, it's kind of funny because like when I envision a story, I don't necessarily think about writing for my bias. I think like which member would best fit this particular story. So when I did Quick and Dirty, I was like, I got to do something for Hoseok, and I had this like idea in my head of him being sort of like a pretend mama's boy, and like and like being so sweet in front of his mom, and her having no idea that he's really down and dirty when she's not paying attention. So that's kind of where the inspiration for that came from. That I really felt like I had to do something. I had to write something for Hoseok because I just had neglected him. I felt at that point.
I really feel like Hobie is really a big old freak, because
He is.
in every story he's a big old freak. Like, what's going on?
100%. I co-sign that so hard. Like I buy into every word of that.
I love the sneakiness of this story of him going upstairs to his room trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
Well, and then, I had seen a couple of interviews where he mentioned that he used to play tennis. So I was like, you know what? We're going to make those trophies on his dresser tennis trophies to kind of fit in with the interest that he said he had. So
yeah,
I figured that would be a good detail to include.
Yeah, that's a really cool detail. I don't even think I knew that.
Why? I didn't even think about that at all.
No.
So yeah, Quick and Dirty was like, I'm actually a very slow writer, and that didn't take me that long to write because it wasn't very long. None of my stories are very long. Like, I don't know how these authors pump out 30K stories every 2 weeks. I just cannot do it. But
I know,
it was
girl,
a little bit shorter than the rest of them.
Yeah.
I know, girl, because after reading your stories, I'd be like, girl, I need more. Give me more.
Oh, yes. We'll get to that in a second.
I'm like a really succinct writer, and almost, I think, to the point where I wish that I could train myself. I'm trying to figure out how to flesh out my writing a little bit, because I think it can be like it moves a little bit too fast sometimes, and there are moments that I should probably dwell on that I don't. So I'm trying to figure out how to tweak my writing that way.
I love how you write. I feel like it
Me
flows.
too.
It flows as it should. Like, it's necessary for the story without drawing out too many moments, but also not skipping past it really fast. It just but they like end, and you're like, wait,
right. Yes, and sometimes if you put too much detail in, it'd be like way too much detail. Like a bunch of stuff just
Hmm.
happened. So I appreciate how you write. I think you do great.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you
definitely.
very much. Thank you.
So yeah,
I appreciate that.
yeah, that was gonna be one of my questions. Actually, was about how quick it normally takes you to write. But I know you said that you're a fairly slow writer, so that's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. It takes me, I mean, I have some buddies on Tumblr and AO3, and I'm not, they write a lot, but they also write really well. And I'm like, how do you do that so fast? I swear I like agonize over every sentence, and it's it's like there's got to be an in between there, but I don't know. They're just some people who are blessed to be amazing writers and fast writers. I am not one of those
Uh-huh.
people.
Does it
So where
take
do you?
you? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, where do you get your ideas from? Do they just
That was my
come? Like,
question.
she
I
was
don't
like,
know. So I actually worked on House of Cards for like seriously probably months. But I mean it wasn't like I sat home went home every day and worked on it. I would pick it up, I would put it down. Um, when it was the first BTS fic that I ever wrote, and it had to be June because just the premise of having someone who works for Big Hit that speaks English, like it wouldn't to me, it wasn't plausible with another member.
Hmm.
So it had to be a June fic, which I mean, that's not exactly a sacrifice.
No.
So, so, but when I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't want it to be like this happily ever after kind of ending because it just didn't feel like that's what would really happen. I mean, and granted, we are talking about fiction about Korean boy band.
Right.
Reality is not like super important,
Right.
but I just felt like plausibility. I felt like plausibility wise, like I didn't see someone like meeting Kim Namjoon and being his girl forever
Right.
based on that kind of connection. So yeah, that was that was definitely an interesting story to write, but it took me a long time. The idea, I don't remember exactly where the idea came from.
well, we will never
Hmm.
know how that
Oh
story.
my gosh. That story with the I want you. I'm like,
I
wait.
want to. I'm like, what? Is that it? Oh my god!
It ended so, oh man, that was a good story.
It was so good. Me and D. wanted so much more.
Man.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. Well, and that's the other thing too, is that if I ever changed my mind and went back, I would like to have the option to do that.
Yeah.
And honestly, Airplane Part 2 was never supposed to be more than a one shot,
Yes,
but
it was
Lisa,
great.
Lisa, you were so enthusiastic about it, and a couple of other people messaged me. They were like, there's got to be something else you have to say
Yes,
about this. And I started kind of daydreaming about it, like, how could these two people continue this story?
I
Yes.
loved it.
So it took me a while to kind of come up with a way to make it, again, plausible in BTS fiction world, but somewhat plausible.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I wanted it to keep going on.
Man, it was like that second part was like, yes, this is exactly what we needed. Because we had so many
Yeah.
questions. We were like, what happens? Do they get back together? Do they see each other?
D was like, remember you? I was like, this could happen, and this could happen, and this could
Right.
I was just thinking about different ways stuff could happen.
Oh man, that
That is so funny.
that story was so good too. I'm like, man, and I was low key jealous. I'm like, girl, you got a you got an extension on yours. I don't know what happened with June.
I know. I know. I
It was
I
good.
would say that JK though, like he was definitely my favorite character to write because he was just so smart ass and
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
just totally unafraid and totally out there. And I was like, oh, okay, this guy could be really fun to write. And he was a ton of fun to write. So
And see,
Yeah.
that's what I
I really
like
liked
about
that.
a good writer like you because you make them seem like this really happens because their personality that we know them for be in your stories.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
That's
D when
great.
we was talking about the Namjoon story, we was talking about how he was yelling at the stage manager or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't see that. And he was like, I can see it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can see now. Like,
Yeah.
it makes so much sense because how we see Namjoon,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, how we see
Yeah.
a version of Namjoon. I like the way
Yeah.
you write. It makes so much sense to us.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's such a great compliment. I mean, that's the thing when you put anything out there, you're like, man, I just want people to read this and really enjoy it and connect with it. So when you hear people say that, it's like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. No, we
Uh-huh.
definitely enjoy your writing, girl. Like it is we get so into it and so invested and we're like, oh, this is great. We're like, did you see this part? Blah 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 blah. Like
Well, that is awesome. Just
yeah.
know that I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for writing it. Like seriously.
Right. Thank you for continuing Airplane Part 2. It was
Seriously.
amazing.
That was really good.
Yeah. So it's funny because Airplane Part Two, so it was really challenging to write because after um, that first chapter, I was like, okay, now where do I go from here? Like, I've got to figure out how to bring together 100 loose ends. Like, how does this make any sense?
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
so I really had to like sit around and kind of daydream, like, how does this person get from A to B to C? And how does it make any sense that,
Yeah.
that this federal agent, would slowly sort of decide that she would rather help this guy out of his own legal woes than to continue with her own job?
Yeah.
Risking it
So,
all.
risking it
Risking it
all.
all.
I
Because
mean,
they
but if
was
you guys
following
have
that
seen
book.
long haired JK, you would have to risk it all for him, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, girl. It's everything for JK.
You definitely. If there was one
Yeah.
man on the planet you were going to risk it all for, it'd have to be him.
All
Absolutely.
day.
Even I would risk it all for him.
Yes, girl. Yes. For
Man.
all that
Totally.
sexiness, I have to.
Yes. So, do you have any other works that you're currently like working on or things that you're wanting to write
hmm
about?
Yeah, so I actually just finished a Hobie series, a Hosak series. I mean, not call them Hobie, but and it was a Mafia AU, which I didn't think
Ooh.
was really going to be my thing, but it's like like a tsundere. I'm assuming I'm saying that correctly, but where it's like someone who's really cold eventually opens up, and
Uh-huh.
he is Namjoon is actually the boss in this criminal organization, and Hosak is one of his captains, and it's the story of kind of like what happens after he's assigned to be the personal bodyguard of Namjoon's sister.
Okay.
So I just finished,
Ooh.
yeah. So I just finished it, and I've gotten such sweet feedback from people, like just really nice notes and really nice things. So I really was happy with that story, and so now I'm going to do a story about Namjoon, the crime boss, because I kind of left some breadcrumbs in the first story about him being kind of lonely and um, like who takes care of him and where do they go from here. So
Oh,
now I'm going to go back and I'm going to write um, Namjoon's story. So I'm really excited about that.
definitely gonna
We're
have to
just
check
putting
this
it in.
out.
Yes, because it do sound really good.
It does.
Thank
Are
you.
they are they
It really
on
does.
AO3 or are they on Tumblr?
So I post to both,
Okay.
to AO3 and to Tumblr. I will say though that I think Tumblr is a much stronger fic community than AO3. I could, that's just my personal opinion.
Mhm.
When
Mhm.
I first started like getting into the BTS fic and started looking stuff up, I really struggled with the format of AO3 to find like stories that I connected with and that I really liked.
Yeah.
And it has just been so much easier on the Tumblr side of things. And I think that the authors are better connected. I think that the story sharing is a bit more obvious over there. And there's a ton of amazing authors over there. I mean, really, truly. A lot of them do cross post to AO3.
Mhm.
But I think if you are a BTS fic fan, you've got to take a trip to Tumblr because it's really where, I mean, every day an author is putting out something really good. So I think you have to check that out.
Dang. So we
Yeah,
have,
we really got to get on that because
yeah,
we are
You really
not good
do.
with Tumblr
we
at
have
all.
struggled so hard
Yeah.
just because the layout of it and trying to understand how to actually use it has
Mhm.
been super
Mhm.
confusing for us. And so, like, we'll find these
Mhm.
stories and we'll start reading them, but then we'll like lose our place or can't find the story again. So
Mhm.
it's just, we got to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that there is a little bit of a learning curve in terms of like going back to stories that you like.
Hmm.
But once you start figuring that out, I mean, there's a series right now that I'm thinking of off the top of my head that Lisa, you would die. It's called
Ooh,
Rattled. Have you heard about this? Rattled.
no.
It's by her username is actually Gookslut, but she's her name is Ashley, and it's a JK fic that like it hurt in every best way. Like it was worth all of the angst. Oh, it was so good.
Oh my
And there's just
goodness.
so many. I mean, there's just a ton of authors out there that are just doing such good stuff, and
All right, all
they
right.
support each
Send
other
me
a
the
lot.
link.
Yeah,
Right.
Send me
yeah,
the link.
yeah.
Send me the link.
I'm just saying, I know you're a JK
All
fan,
day,
and
all
I know
day.
I think that story would really like send you to the moon.
That sounds
Yeah,
good.
we really love Wattpad like a whole lot. So we really need to like venture out, and try
Yeah,
Tumblr again. We have not been big on
yeah,
Tumblr at all.
We
So
just
we
keep
really kind
getting
of need to try.
confused with it. That's
Yeah.
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 See, that's funny because I have tried Wattpad a couple times and I just can't get into it. So it's funny how
Really?
it's different. Yeah, it's different for each person, like how they prefer to find and read fic, but I can't
Uh-huh.
get into Wattpad.
yeah. That's
Mm.
understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of fan fiction do you like to read?
All of it. I mean, it's so funny because before I ever wrote BTS, like I was reading so many stories, like devouring stories. And
Uh-huh.
if something is well written, I can read almost any genre. Like it is, as long as I'm interested and you're keeping me there. Like I don't care, mystery, western, like I don't
Yeah.
care. I'll read whatever, even fantasy stuff. Um, and then like and even like PWP, Porn Without Plot. Like I love that stuff. I don't
What's
write
your
necessarily
favorite?
a whole lot of it. Gosh, I know that's really hard. Um, I mean, I would almost like refer to authors instead of stories because some of these authors, like their whole master lists are just insanely good.
Mm,
There's a couple of friends of mine, Persona, Persona, Lindy. She does she does amazing PWP stories. Like she has a couple of longer format stories that are deeper than that too, but she's fantastic. Um, Lady Artemisia, she's fantastic. She has just this she's this like poetic style of writing, and but she just tells funny stories with good dialogue. Tay Tay Wonderland is a friend who we jokingly call her the queen of impreg kink because like she has cornered the market on that particular style of plot of story. And then the bigger authors, I mean, I know Brooke Flood is a big author, Sugar Cookie Monster, K-pop, fan fiction trash.
Oh
I mean, these are
yeah.
these are these are authors who have like dozens of stories in their master list, and then they're all good stories.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't matter which one you click on, you're gonna find something quality.
uh-huh.
So, oh, there's another one too. I got to mention this because it's my current obsession. It's a Tayfic, and it's called Queen Cobra, and
Oh.
it is a mafia fic by a sublimely talented author um, named Fantasy Bangtan.
Uh-huh.
It is phenomenal. Like, should be a movie, should be a book. Someone get this girl a deal. It's incredible.
Oh, girl,
And it's
you
a
just
Tay
ruined
fic.
the scene.
It is
Yeah.
so good. I'm going to send you guys the link to that one too, because I promise you will be screaming in my DMs about this story.
Yes, please do.
Dealers ain't love a big gang
I
AU.
am too. I am for it.
Listen, this is like the best mafia story I've ever read. It's so good.
Yes, please
Okay,
send that
okay.
link.
Yeah, you guys will be dying for it.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to check it out. We just I really go up for the mafia gang type of stories. I'm not even sure when that became a thing, but it did.
Yeah, it did. It did.
So,
It did.
that's so funny. With some of the stories and the information that you write about, like some of the smut that takes place in your stories, do you find it difficult to write about, or like when you first started, or do you find it fairly easy and comfortable?
No, whenever I write a story, the thing that always hangs me up the most is the smut. Like, I can write a lot quick. I can write, I think, the other parts quickly, but then I get hung up on it. I would say that the thing that always throws me off that other authors don't have any problem with is the dirty talk. Like, I want them to talk dirty, but I don't want them to talk too dirty.
Yeah.
That's just my personal preference in my stories. It doesn't matter. When I'm reading someone else's story, I'm like, say whatever you want,
Right.
go for it. But when I'm writing my own particular stories, I'm like, I don't. There's a certain way that I want them to talk to each other.
Right.
So I think I'm like hung up on that a bit, and so the dialogue portion, like what they're gonna do in the smut, that kind of hangs me up a little bit.
Well, you can't tell, honey, how we be reading.
Right. At all.
It's funny, because I will go back to Airplane Part 2, but that was like the most language that I ever used, like most foul language that I ever used in anything that I wrote. But I felt like both JK and the character, this is the way that they would speak to each other.
Right.
I felt like it made sense.
Right.
And so I even put like a warning on it. I was like, I don't really have a dirty mouth in real life. Like, I think I put that on the AO3 tag, but yeah, I was like, it makes sense for these two people, but I don't know that it makes sense for every story.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, it fit.
Yes, it sure did. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Same.
I'm so glad.
Every minute of it. Even though she just kept him hanging. We don't know what's gonna happen next, guys. Because I've been waiting to see if she gonna link up with him again. Because he bored.
Right.
He said he was bored.
Yeah.
He want her to come where he at.
Right.
And that was it.
Yeah. Well, so we're just gonna assume that they just ride happily off into the sunset.
So in other words, I'm not getting another part.
No, girl, you asking for a lot. You already got the extra part.
Funny.
Right. That's okay. I liked it anyway. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
But just putting it out there, girl, I'll tell you like I tell every author, you can always write Lisa into a story with JK.
That's so true. And if I ever get that inkling, I'll be in your DMs screaming about it.
Okay, girl. Thank you, honey. Yes.
That's awesome.
So what about who is the funnest member to write about? Like, who do you enjoy writing about the most?
Well, I feel like I kind of answered that with JK, just because of the concept of Airplane Part 2. I feel like that was the most fun story I wrote. However, I really got over this like mental block that I had about writing Hosak with this mafia story. So I really enjoyed writing that part of him. You know how in so many fics he's like Mr. Sunshine and doing the most, and Mr. Goofy. I was like, you know what? I just want to imagine him as like Mr. Serious. That's how I want to imagine him right now. So that was really fun. And honestly, June is so versatile as a character. Like he has those leadership qualities. He has that incredible voice. Yes. He has those dimples. Like there's a lot of material there to work with. Another one I forgot to mention this is that I think Yoongi is really versatile too.
Yeah.
Like he could be like your stormy character, or he could be your comic relief. I mean, I think he's a really versatile guy to write.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
he could be really fluffy, and a lot of people don't write.
Oh, like, totally. Really yeah.
stories about Yugi either.
Yeah.
See, I think Yugi in real life is all of those people. I feel like
Uh-huh.
he has all of those different personas. He is Yugi, he is Suga, he is Auguste, he's all of those things, and he could be any of those things at any time.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like that's why he's so versatile to write.
Uh-huh.
That's a very good point.
So what about Jen? Any future stories with Jen?
Did you read Danger? I only have the one Jim story right now. Did you read that one?
No,
Uh-uh.
I don't think
But we
Okay, well,
so.
I
can,
have
we
one.
can.
I have one Jin story, and it had to be Jin. And I
Uh-huh.
have to mention my favorite Twitter fic friend B, who listens to this podcast and loves you guys.
Hey
Who is
Yay!
girl.
also
Hey, girl.
the number who is who is also the number one Jin fan on the planet.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But I was but I was talking to her when I was writing it, and I'm like, Jin is the only member that makes sense for this story. Like, I can't envision it being somewhere else. And after she read it, she's like, I can totally see why it had to be Jin. Like, it had to be him. He's the
Uh-huh.
only one that fits this particular storyline. But he's kind of like a rich boy attorney, and that was a really fun story to write. People, I got some
Oh,
great feedback on that.
Cool.
yeah.
Um, so I have a couple of the only two members that I haven't written for to this point right now are Tay and Jimin,
Okay.
and
Uh-huh.
I have a Tay story coming out in a collab
Oh,
that's
nice.
supposed to come out. Yeah, there's like a summer fic project that I signed up
Uh-huh.
for. So I do have a Tay story. It's not going to be like a multi-chapter thing, but it's coming out soon. And then I got to figure out what to write for our friend Jimin because
Yeah.
he's just, I mean, he's perfect, right? And you got to
Yeah.
figure out like, what can I write
Jimin
about
is
him?
always really good to read about because he is very versatile too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people write him as the lover, the fluffy
Mm-hmm.
character, but I have seen him in bad boy characters too.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
there's,
That
yeah, he could,
thinking about sweeter than sweet Jimin right now.
yes,
Oh
yes.
yeah.
That Jimin. Gosh, that story was
I think
good.
that fic, I think that fic is gonna be like printed and put in a museum somewhere someday.
Man,
Yeah. I forgot about
Like
Sweeter Than Sweet. That was
oh
good.
yeah,
that
that's like the biggest BTS fic ever written.
that one was
Uh-huh.
great. Man.
I have a question that I like to ask people.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
your fix that we are talking about, what did
Mm-hmm.
each member look like? Like
Oh,
what
that's
was their
Mm-hmm.
hair color?
yep.
What was going on?
Um, okay. So June, I think, had his dark brown hair. He has dark brown hair.
Okay.
Okay.
And he always has a tan in my mind,
Yes.
which actually might just be in real life if they quit whitewashing pictures. But
Yes. Say
Right.
it again for the
he
people in the
has
back.
Yes.
he always has a tan in my mind, like it's just a little golden.
Uh-huh.
Dark brown hair. I love dark brown hair on him.
Yeah.
Um, and then Hosak always has dark hair.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that what cherry purple purple slash cherry Hosak gets a lot of love, but in my line,
Uh-huh.
he always has the dark hair. But when I wrote this mock epic, those pictures, those like photo shoot pictures that came out with the new album, where he's got his bangs off of his face and he's got that suit on.
Oh
And I
Uh-huh.
used it in the
yeah.
graphics for the story. I was like, good God, that is the inspiration I needed right there.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Those are some
See,
good
So
I
those,
picture
pics.
him in a hat, girl. I got something though. It's about Hobie in a hat with me. I don't know what it is.
yeah,
Hobie in a hat. Oh,
yeah, he does. Well,
everything.
listen, that guy, like, I see him in clothes all the time that I'm like, if I saw a regular dude wearing that on the street, I would probably laugh my ass off. Like,
Right.
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh.
he pulls it off. Like,
What's
he
out?
can pull off every freaking look.
Girl, we
But for
know
this
that when he
particular
came from
story,
the
yeah,
airport. Remember when he came
yeah.
from the airport with the nothing on under the jacket? Come
and his
on
and his
now.
and his Balenciaga underwear. I'm like, this is underwear that
Yes.
costs more than my light bill.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, almost always I'm imagining the members with dark hair,
Okay,
Uh-huh.
and
cool.
of course JK.
Mhm.
It was most definitely Fifth Muster, Pied Piper,
Yes,
sweaty, long hair
Yep.
JK in that pic.
Yes, girl, that's our favorite
That is
one.
our I swear, every fan fiction after seeing that, he looks like that. I don't care, even if they
Yeah,
tell me in the story his hair is
Yeah,
red. I'm like, nope, it's not.
right. It was like this. Nope,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not
I
how I
always see
pictured
him
it.
that way.
That was
It's
the
funny
face.
how you can
That
read a story and then be like, this is what he looked like in your mind.
Right.
It doesn't
oh
matter what
yeah,
it says, like in your mind, that's just what you picturing.
Mm-hmm.
that's totally true. I mean that Fifth Muster look, like I called it before. I'm like, this is definitely the look that launched a thousand fics. Like
Yeah.
people went to their keyboards, they were inspired.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like Yugi did it too recently with the De Chita video.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I know.
golly.
Why did he cut that? Stay there. Stay there, Yugi.
I mean, he put out that video, and girls were like stretching their fingers and knuckles all over the world, but
Mm,
getting in front of those computers, like, okay, I know exactly what I want to say.
Yes.
yes. Oh, he was so fine in that video. When
Right?
he first came out and he pulled them sleeves up, I was like, yes,
Girl
Yugi,
looks
you
great.
better do it with that eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When the inspiration strikes.
Man.
Yes. I love it when he
Definitely.
has his hair like that. Then he go back to like the mushroom look. And then I'm
Hmm.
like, I mean, I ain't hating on it, but I kind of still love the other look.
Yeah.
Listen, I think I might be like vice president of the Bring Back Everybody's Undercut committee, because
Yes.
every time these dudes
Girl,
have undercuts, I lose my mind. I'm like,
yes, honey, because if Jen don't bring back that blonde undercut, I'ma
Oh,
know
that
something.
was a look.
yes,
That was a
it
look.
was. It was.
I'm telling
Yes,
Oh
you,
my gosh. Yes.
undercuts will reign supreme forever and always with BTS because they always
forever.
look
Oh my gosh.
amazing.
I'm gonna draft like a serious looking business email, but the body is just gonna be like, please please bring back undercuts for every member, please.
Please.
Right. Yes, please, please. Need it in
I'll
my
send it
life.
to Big Hit every day until I get banned.
Mhm. That's because when JK had that undercut and on video, oof,
Man,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
that
I
was a
mean,
mm,
look.
golly.
Ooh,
yes, honey.
That's one of their best looks, personally.
yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, girl, because
So,
Jimmy was looking extra, girl. Jimmy was doing something to me when that video came out. I
Okay.
was like, what is happening? I don't even really like Jimmy like that normally. Like, I love Jimmy, don't get me wrong.
yeah.
But he's not like on the top of my bias list like that. But when On came out and it was like blue green,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh no, I don't know what's going on down here.
Yeah.
Jimmy is
But
like, he's so handsome that it's like intimidating.
Right.
He's
Right.
almost too pretty for Earth. Like,
Right. He
what are you
doesn't look
doing here
human.
amongst us mere mortals?
yeah,
Him and V look the same way to me.
Yeah,
He doesn't
yeah.
look real. Even seeing him in person, I'm
yes.
like, this is a real human. Like
Girl,
Yes,
he
seriously.
can't
yes.
even look like nothing else but curly hair V forever.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you like the like finger waves that he had? No,
Yes.
it wasn't
Oh
finger
no,
waves. It was like larger
not the
curls,
finger
right?
waves,
Oh,
just
just the
like the
wavy
curly,
curly, yeah.
wavy brown hair,
Yeah,
longer.
yeah,
Yes, honey.
yeah. He does look really great like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would
Mm-hmm.
look really great probably anyway, but
Yeah.
he looks
Yeah.
pretty good like that too.
Yeah. I love them.
So,
Who do you
yeah.
think? Who do you think is the biggest freak of the group?
Hosak.
Definitely.
Did you see no hesitation? I mean, it could be a tie between him and June.
Y-
Because I'll tell you what, June is one of those people who will snow you. Like, oh, look, I don't have a driver's license. I'm so harmless, but no.
Yeah.
First of all, you cannot fool me,
Right.
Nam Jill. I know you,
Right.
daddy.
As
I
soon
know
Right.
as
you,
he said
daddy,
that he
all
likes to be
day.
called daddy,
Right.
you knew what was up. You
Right.
knew what was
He's the
up.
kid
Yeah.
that like, yeah, he's the kid that aced every test, and
Mm-hmm.
all the parents loved him, and they had no idea
Mm-hmm.
that like secretly he was very, very
He
bad.
was blowing people's
Ooh.
Yeah.
backs out. I could
Girl,
already
there go
tell.
your
Yeah.
neck. Girl, you that wrote your next.
Yeah.
I can already tell.
And I feel similarly about Hosak. I feel like as much like Mr. Sunshine headlines as he gets, I feel like that dude is behind closed doors,
Yeah.
not the same way.
Girl, we know Hobie loves some BDSM. Like, that's him.
Enough authors have mentioned it. I feel like somebody knows the truth. Like,
Yeah, somebody knows
It's
something.
out there. The
yeah.
truth is out there. The truth is out there.
Man, Hobie looked like he will do some crazy things to you.
Mm-hmm.
Hobie, listen, and I think Hobie just has an appreciation for women of all kinds.
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
if you watch that dude in interviews and like, I don't know, I just feel like he's like, yep, I just love women, all kinds of women.
I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
Yes.
Definitely here for
So,
it.
yeah, so I think those are your two freakiest of the freaks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, that was the end of my question. Then was like, do you have any more questions?
I don't have any more questions. A lot of stuff we kind of talked about and answered as we were going along, so it worked
Yeah,
out kind of
for real.
perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But what we typically do is we just, we tell people where they can find you. So if you have like your Twitter, your Instagram,
hmm
places where people can find you on the writing platforms, go ahead and give them your information.
So yeah, I'm on Twitter and Tumblr and AO3, and in all three instances, my username is xJoonchildx. So it's the same across all three platforms.
Cool, cool,
Okay.
cool.
Did you have any questions for us?
I don't know. I feel like I know you guys from listening
That's
to.
how we want it. We're family.
Right.
I know. I will tell you this though. I listened to last week's episode with Pervy Nuna, which is great, and
Uh-huh.
that was so fun. And then she mentioned that she read House of Cards, and you guys, I had like such an awesome feeling. I'm like, and it had a realization, which is kind of dumb, but I'm like, people I don't even realize are reading the story are reading the story. Like, that's really interesting and cool and a little scary, but at the same time, like, you don't even know you're putting this out there into the world. Like, who's seeing it, who's
Yeah.
Yeah.
ingesting it, and maybe who's enjoying it. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, it is
Well, I
really
guess
cool.
we feel the same way about our podcast sometimes. We be like, oh, wait, people are actually listening to us?
Right.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
We just be fangirling and talking about fan fiction.
Right. It's really cool because we'll get emails or like DMs and people are like, hey, can you do blah, blah, blah? And we're like, oh my gosh, people actually care. Like, this is crazy. Like,
That is cool. You're like, this is not going out into nothing. People are
yeah. I
listening.
mean, just like for
Right.
people to be excited, like when we were wanting to interview you and you're like, oh, I'm so excited. It's like, we're nobody. What do you mean?
Right. we be so excited. We be like, they really talk to us.
Right.
I love it. I love it.
It's awesome.
So
Well,
cool.
we wanted to thank you again for joining us. We
Thank
do
Yes,
definitely
thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Yeah,
Thank you
definitely.
so much.
We are
Thank
gonna have
you.
to read some of those ones that you recommended and some of the
Yes,
stories that we haven't got
yes. I
to.
will send you the links. Listen, I'm going to send you the links to these stories, and you guys are going to be so floored by the quality. You're going to like run to go figure out how to work Tumblr. You're going to be so
Okay,
excited to figure out
okay.
Tumblr.
That's awesome. I can't wait. So
Uh,
you guys can follow us on Twitter and Instagram as usual. You can email us at doyoureadbts@yahoo.com. You can send those recommendations. We still have a list, guys, so don't think we forgot. We got a long list. And
Uh-huh.
hopefully we'll get to learn how to use Tumblr better so that we can, start reading some more of those stories. But you can
That's
send those.
probably where half of those the list is on
Yeah.
Tumblr.
Yep.
mhm.
Yep.
Guys, please don't forget to send us your Q&As. We have not got a lot of them, but we really want to know what kind of questions you have to ask us, and we want to answer them for you. So let us know.
All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.